Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the return of, after what seems an eternity, of the 4020 Rugby League show. Tonight's show is dedicated to the memory of Zane Purcell and of Danny Jones, who, if you have been living under a rock, tragically lost their lives in the last space of 8 days. Yesterday was an amazing day for the world of Rugby League, and it was a nice send-off. And you did it again, sir, didn't you?
Didn't mean to.
Lightning struck twice.
I genuinely didn't mean to. It was one of those where, the situation. It was a nice photograph. I just posted it on the page. I expected the usual reaction: Lee, Greg, the usual suspects.
Yeah.
So look and see us go from 155 to 254 people liking the page.
Yeah,
19.
I can't believe it.
As of now, let me. As of right now. Right, hang on. I haven't. Oh my god. 225,000 people have seen it.
Yeah, it's
just under. Right, no, that's. I've got a cup of tea in my hand. I've got to put it down. I'm shaking.
Yeah. Well,
right. So you're telling me 250,000 people?
Yeah.
Had seen that from our little show.
A woman called Danny Sanderson posted to the page. She goes, "Can anybody tell me how and where I can donate some raffle money to?" And I literally, only thing I could find was the Just Giving page for Danny. So, and that is nearly. I think they've nearly reached 1 million for that now.
I've chipped in my bit.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to post this on the page, and if that's okay with everybody that listens to us and everything, what I'm going to do when I come back from holiday is I'm going to get that picture, and I am going to print every comment underneath it, and I am going to send it to Keithley Cougars, and I'm going to say, on behalf of the 4020 Rugby League show, this is what our listeners said to Danny's widow.
Yeah.
So, I think
it's kind of blown my mind. Just under 200 comments.
Yeah.
It's been shared over 125 times as well.
Yeah, it's unreal. It's
blown the Sam Burgess one away, and I'm glad it has.
5,700 people liked it. 676 shares. It's crazy. I'm looking at it here.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, it wasn't meant. Do you get what I mean? Like I said on the thank you last night, it wasn't. I never. The same with the Sam Burgess one.
Yeah, you just said it from the heart.
We don't post stuff on the page for.
Yeah.
There are a lot of pages, a lot of promotions. If you're new to the show and you're tuning in for the first time, Dean runs a fantastic sport network as it now is.
Well, it's only the wrestling one for the time being, because the NFL's dead for a couple more months. And
no, I know that, but at the main point, we've got at least 3 sports on the go.
Yeah,
I know events. You've got plans to possibly expand. That's always. Yes. But at the end of the day, you see pages and promotions. Please like this. 1 like equals 1 respect and crap like that. That's not how Dean and I roll. We see something, we either say it serious or say it funny.
Yes, it's been. Last few months. Everybody must know about us now. We're going to get going again. I'm on holiday tomorrow morning. I fly out. I'm going to the airport at 4:00 in the morning, so I'm away for next week. So I think we
were going to leave this till after your holiday, weren't we? With the reaction to last night, to yesterday.
No, we couldn't wait. Just could not wait and everything. It's one of them things. It's just a fantastic response. It just shows you what the rugby league community is like. And on one day we had the reaction from that, and on the other end of the scale we had the chairman of Lee Rugby League Club son.
It doesn't look like a hack, does it?
No, it's his son. Apparently his son did it. Because I checked this morning, and he put on Twitter, and he said, "Oh dear, looks like I've got a lot of rebuilding of bridges today, but I know one person will be building a lot more than a bridge." So
yeah, because he admitted, didn't he? His dad had gone to bed and he was running the account.
yeah, it was his son doing it. He was calling anybody and everybody out. It was going. I was sat there going, "Mate, stop! Please stop!" But no, it kept going.
I was so tempted to post a Michael Jackson popcorn picture at one point.
Yeah.
On his page, on his tweets, I was so tempted to post that Michael Jackson eating popcorn picture that's now universally used to when there's a fight starting.
Just. I mean, if you've not listened to the thing before, the thing about the 40-20 Rugby League show is it's not going to have a format. It never has. It never will. What we do is we just basically chat about anything to do with Rugby League that comes out of our heads. We don't plan this. We've never planned anything in life. We never will. It's one of the things I plan. I take great pride in myself. I'm going to leave the professional shows to this. The 40-20 Rugby League show is done by fans for the fans. We always have and always will. If you want to join us at any point in the discussions, you are more than welcome to join us. We have a phone line. You can ring us in 01223 911 882. You can. It is a phone line where anybody can ring in. Anybody can join us. We don't care what team you are, who you support, anything. We will be fine as long as you don't support Salford, because Ant will go mental about Salford.
No, do you know what? Do you know what? I'm going to stick up for the Salford. No, right, here we go. I'm going to stick up for the Salford fans this week. To the 1,972 brave souls who braved the awful weather conditions on Thursday night. Or, I mean, to be fair, I mean, where the AJ Bell is, that's a wind trap. So I'm not being funny. No matter what stand those fans sat in last Thursday night, they were going to get drowned.
Yeah. Did you see?
And you know what? Just under 2,000 turned up, and to whoever was running the Twitter page to turn around and slag them off, and turn around and say, "I think it's disappointing. Consider the effort they made." I think is a disgrace.
Yeah. Did you see what somebody put on the Twitter as well underneath it? They're saying disappointed with the turnout, and somebody went, "Well, try moving back to Salford then."
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It is a good point. But yeah, no, that's a rare one. I'm going to stick up for him this week.
Do you think Kudash will rename him Manchester at some point?
I think they'll get renamed Dr. Miles Red Devils.
I think
in the dressing room.
I mean, I'm thinking like that. I really believe he's going to change it to Manchester Red Devils. I really believe he's going to do that.
If he wants to, I don't know. If he wants to embrace it, then maybe he should. At the end of the day, here we are again, mate.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to talk about Salford tonight. I was going to leave the poor buggers alone.
No,
but you brought them up. You brought them up.
No, we'll get back to these things. I mean, the tragic events that's happened over the last 9 days. We're going back a week now. Very simply, Keighley versus London Scholars. Danny Jones went on that pitch, fine, nothing, no problems. And he said he had weak legs in the warm up. Apparently, that's what I think I saw that as well. But and then all of a sudden, the rest everybody knows what happens, and it shocked everybody to the core. But you fetched up a good point last night. Have we reached, as the human body, reached its physical limits for this game of rugby?
I don't think it's just this game. You're hearing it more and more across a lot of sports now. I mean, all right, call them Wendy ballers, but how many footballers are you hearing who've got undiagnosed, professional footballers or amateur footballers, undiagnosed heart condition? It's happening in rugby. It's happening in American football. It's happening in a lot more sports. Zane Purcell's, from what we can gather, was a legal tackle, but a freak accident. Yeah. From what we've heard, I mean, I tweeted Andrew Voss last night. Again, if you're not overly familiar, Andrew Voss became famous over here for his amazing commentaries during the World Cup, where he name dropped pubs he'd been in before the game and where he was going after the game in England, Ireland, and Wales. And Andrew Voss has become like a bit of a cult voice over here in Britain now, and he's kept in touch with a lot of Brits. And And so I asked him, I said, has there been any more news from what happened to him? And he said it was from what we can gather, it was a legal tackle, but the contact was awkward. And I think, without reading too much between the lines, I think it sounds like something's ruptured in the poor fella. And it's just been mass rapid internal bleeding. It's just a 1,000,000-to-1 accident.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, this is at county level. Well, the Australians are equivalent of, well, what would it be, Championship 1? Championship 1, Championship 2 level?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And they said he said medics were on site, the ambulance was there in 10 minutes, and there was nothing they could do. So, it wasn't, there was no major delays or anything like that, and again, I'm going to go here in a minute, mate. I'm back and feel my throat wobbling. Here's another one. He's left the young kids behind.
It is tragic. It's absolutely tragic.
Going back to that, you see it now, and you hear about the training regimes and rugby players. Winston Laird just put in the chat room, would helmets be? I don't. To be honest with you, I don't think it'd be acceptable. To reverse the question to Winter's Laird in the chat room here, would you imagine the NFL without them? Could you imagine the NFL without pads and guards and helmets?
Yeah.
And don't forget, in the NFL as well, there's this mass lawsuit now for concussions, and that's with helmets.
Yeah.
It seems in the NFL wearing helmets, head clashes, acceptable. So, yeah, thanks for the question, Winter, but no. Cheers, man. I don't think it would.
No, I think now we've got.
But the heart conditions.
We've seen now.
We've seen. Are we pushing the human heart too far?
Yeah, we've seen the new rules coming in saying we're eliminating the shoulder barge because of the repercussions of what happens to that. If you look, I look at the game. I mean, I watched the match. I mean, I've got it on videotape. I've got Sheffield Eagles versus Widnes from 1989. Right. Yeah. And I saw something there that could help the game. Bring back the 5 meter rule instead of going back 10 meters. Where
go back 5.
You know that when they play the ball, you've got to go back 10 yards. Take them back 5 because think of how much speed they can get up in them 10 yards. If you can push it down to 5, maybe. I'm just clutching at straws here. But maybe we wouldn't have people running at so much top speed at 10 yards because then you're going to get these almighty collisions and everything. It's not the players' faults. It's nobody's fault. It's just the fact is the matter is now we've got players that 20 years ago weighed 15, 16 stone and could run very good. Now we've got 17, 18, 19 stone people that can run 100 meters in less than 11.5 seconds. They're getting to Olympic sprinter standards now.
That's it. When I played, I was 17-2, and with the 10-meter rule, I was blown up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When so by the time you were getting to tackle 3, 4, 5, you weren't hitting a foot. If I was going in at first tackle, you're not going in a second. So by the time you got back 10, got yourself into position for tackle 3, and you hit again. By the time tackle 5 comes back, that ball's already gone to, and the kick's bit away before you're heading back. Now I know people say, "Oh well, you clearly weren't fit enough," but that was me, and that wasn't just me. That was how the game was played. Rugby league is a fast game, but believe it, and people might believe it. The game now, I don't recognise that game on the pitch for the speed. The speed of that game, I don't recognise, and I played less than a generation ago.
I think what we're trying to get at here is Danny passed away because of an unknown heart defect, and Zane and the young lad Zane, he's done it as well. Now, what we're trying to do is with the physical implications of this is the fact that people are trying to get their bodies ready. Like you've got 20 years ago, you used to go in the gym. I used to go in the gym like every other day. And I was like, weights Monday, running Tuesday, weights Wednesday, running Thursday, weights Friday, running Saturday, day off Sunday. That was my regime. Now you've got weights in the morning, running in the afternoon, home, eat, sleep. Next day, weights, running, home, sleep. They're doing it on a day. That's because of the full-timeism that's come in the game. It's just nothing against the players, but it's just now you've got wingers that are now 15, 16 stone. Props 20 years ago weighed 15, 16 stuff.
Well, I mean, there was a case in point in the Catalans game the other night. When I played, as I said, it's less than. I know it sounds like, oh God, it's the old man who, everything, It's not the case. One of the Catalan tries, a 19-stone second rower went 40 metres unchallenged.
Yeah.
That was as rare as rocking horse shit when I played.
Yeah.
Now it happens once a game. Mm. You see a second rower 18, 19 stone breaking tackles and gaining 20, 30 metres. And they're fast.
Yeah.
We've said this all along. Sooner or later, it's we'll not go into the wash with Danny Jones or whatever. But at the end of the day, week on week, after hitting another player, as they've said, at the equivalent of a 20 mile an hour car crash or 30 mile an hour car crash, 60, 70 times a game, it's gonna take its toll.
Yeah. I saw the Boots and All last week with Eddie Hemmings, and he got Ralph Rimmer, who used to be my boss at Sheffield Eagles, used to be the chief executive and the Rugby League development officer 20 years ago. And he was on about the heart monitors and everything. They've got to bring them in. There's got to be compulsory for every player to get at least screened at least once a month.
I championed it, and it never picked up on Twitter the other week. I think now every rugby league club in the country, whether you're under sevens or juniors, right the way through to Super League, every club's got to have a defib and a fully trained operative to use it.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. I know clubs are going to say we won't have anyone qualified or this, that, and the other. But you're telling me at junior level, when you've got them under sevens, eights, nines, 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s, you're telling me amongst all those parents there's not one doctor?
Yeah.
And surely to God, I mean, if I'm a qualified doctor, I'd be there home and away every weekend just to be on the pitch side, just to make sure.
There's got to be somebody. There's got to be somebody in the public that's like willing to say, "Yeah, I'll come along just for a couple hours a day, a couple hours a weekend," and just say,
"Hang on, Marv's got the money there."
Yeah.
Instead of Marv going out and buying 35-year-old players on 200 grand a year contracts, I'll tell you what, Marv would get a lot more support if he turned around and went, right, you're a junior rugby league club, there's a defib. You're a junior rugby league club, there's a defib. He's a doctor as well, for fuck's sake, pardon my language.
Yeah.
There you go, 18 minutes and it was me. So if you're playing swearing bingo and I'll dance in 18 minutes, well done.
Yeah,
you win
18 minutes.
You win win as yet unmade 40-20 mug.
We swear a lot, both of us. It's this rugby league. They've got this. If something good, I mean, today is. I mean, I'm not changing sports here, but I look at it this way. Today is the 30th anniversary of the Bradford City fire disaster.
Yeah, it is.
56 people lost their lives in a fire at Bradford City. If it's nothing for Danny, look what legacy was left from the Bradford City fire. They outlawed stands, they outlawed the wooden stands, they outlawed everything, and it made the football ground safer.
For the
legacy of Danny. If the legacy of Danny Jones, the good comes out of this, that it saves a person's life because of a heart monitor or a defibrillator, something at every ground, then Danny will be happy, and I know Danny's family will be over the moon at it. If some good has to come out of this now, then that has to be the way forward out of this. Through every darkness, there is a light, like the saying goes, and everybody says, "Oh, what can we do to improve it?" We know accidents shouldn't happen, but you learn from them, and you say, right, what can we do to change to make sure that this never happens again? This is
Lance
the time
has just
now.
said it in the chat room. Lance has just said it in the chat room.
Yeah.
It's always got to be a tragedy first to make
always.
things change.
I mean,
it's got to be.
It must be 10 years ago now.
It's all right. Our Megan's with us. She said. It's all right. Our baby's with us tonight.
I remember Mike Gregory with motor neurons disease. I never knew what that was until Mike Gregory.
No, I didn't.
And
I
then
didn't know.
You got Steve Prescott. God rest both of their souls. And all of a sudden now it made you aware of the things that surround you. And my situation, it made me. I never heard of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma until I had it. I never heard of it. The only thing I knew about it was that the guitarist from Def Leppard and Black Sabbath had it. That's.
See, I'm lucky. The only thing I'd never heard of until I became it was fat.
It's crazy, but
I mean, it's one of those. Yeah, I mean that's it. But I'm in complete agreement, and I mean to be honest with you, I'm gonna use my own Twitter feed and that, and I'll use the 40-20 if you're on a thingy at 40-20, the number 40, the word 20, the word rugby, all in one nice little go.
Yeah.
That cheap plug, but at the end of the day, yeah, I mean I think the RFL, the Super League now have a duty to Danny's legacy to make sure that equipment is available at every game, up and down every level of rugby league. Yeah. We change. We changed the concussion laws. We changed the things about head and contact as much as we possibly can. This is something now where we've got to look at. But I think as well, up and down the country now, you're good mates with Jason at Leeds, the conditioning coach. They'd be interesting again to hear his opinion on this. As what's happened to Danny, is that going to make him take a step back and think, right, were we pushing the Leeds lads too hard?
No, I know Jason goes everything up with a fine tooth comb, and I know.
I understand that, but
yeah, I know.
But what I mean is what he was going through. What I mean is what he was going with a fine tooth comb and was good enough. Has now the bar has changed in 9 days.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because Danny was perfectly healthy. All right, it's an undiagnosed heart condition.
Yeah.
But did the game cause it? Did the impacts of game upon game cause it? Did the game training? Did all that just build up and build up and build up? And then 4 minutes into that game against London Scholar, his heart finally turned around and went, enough.
I think when everybody looks at over the last 9 days, there's going to be lots of things saying how can we make everybody's saying it now is how can we going to make sure that this never happens again, and this is the chance for the RFL, Super League, Amateur Rugby League, everybody to get your heads together and say, right, this is the way it's going to be. This is it, and don't wait till the end of the season. Now. There's a young woman at this moment who is sat with 2 5-month-old twins who's just lost her husband. We've got to make sure that woman is taken care of forever. Them 2 kids are taken care of forever. And we've got to make sure, as a rugby league community, family, whatever you want to call it, it's our duty to make sure that this never happens again. If there is some way we can stop people going on a pitch with a heart defect, we've got to find that way. It has got to be done now, because now there's more and more things happening in sports. There's people in association football. There's people in American football. There's ice hockey. There's all these sports. It's happening more and more and more, and it shouldn't. You're playing sport to enjoy yourselves, not to kill yourselves. That's
right. I want to point something else out now, right? And I want to say this, and I know no one who works for Sky is going to be listening to this, but if you do, or someone who works for Sky, get them a recording of this. To the people who run Sky Sports News, you are an absolute fucking disgrace. For 30 seconds, you put a yellow sticker on saying that you died, and then went back to your jack-off fest about Chelsea winning the title. Rude. A man died. If George Riley's blocked me on Twitter because he turned around and said something about how BBC Sport covered the coverage on Sunday. I turned around and said, it's a shame you've waited. I said, because when Fabrice Mwamba survived, you covered it for days. And his reply was, oh, what an excuse to bring that up. And I turned around to him and I said, no, it's not an excuse. I said, it's the truth. I said, if you read all the Rugby League tweets, I said, he took BBC Sport out of the tweet because he's protecting his boss. Yeah. The coverage that BBC and Sky gave Danny Jones's death was a disgrace, and I mean a national disgrace. They basically flipped it off like it was, like, I'm not being funny, like it was. We've said this for years. We know Sky and BBC treat it like a minor sport. A man dying didn't change that. Do you get what I mean? You know, when that happened to Fabrice Mwamba, they had 200 specialists. They had former footballers. They had footballers who survived heart attacks. They brought Graham Souness out of cryo freeze to talk about his heart attack. You know, they found cardiologists to come on as well to say, here's what probably happened to Fabrice Mwamba on the day. Rugby League Danny Jones died today. Anyway, back to Stamford Bridge, where we'll watch multi-millionaire Wendy ballers drinking champagne.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. I'll give Eddie Hemmings. I'll give a shout out to Eddie Hemmings though last week. The first thing
I'm surprised he didn't get sacked for that.
Yeah, Eddie Hemmings.
I'm absolutely surprised he didn't get sacked for going off script.
Yeah, Eddie Hemmings for the first bit of Bolsonaro last week was an absolute diamond. They had the Keith, the chairman, on. They had Ralph Rimmer on from Rugby League. They must have spent 10, 15 really good minutes talking about Danny and what they're going to do and the causes and everything. And the Keithley Cougars chairman really banged the drum, saying things like, I want football involved. I want all the sports involved now. I just don't want 25,000. I want 1 million. I want 2 million for this family. I want 3. I want as much money as I can possibly get. It was like, here's an open mic. Go ahead and tell exactly what you feel.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised Eddie Hemmings hasn't been sacked or hauled over the coals for that, because he went totally off script.
Yeah, and to every single Rugby League fan who went to Cougar Park yesterday, you are a saint. You are saints. You are legends, because you wore your colours. And for the first time ever, we saw a Casp kid, a Casp bloke stood next to a Wakefield. And for the first time, it wasn't about them. It was about a young lass on the pitch.
I think, from what I've heard, every single club was represented at Cougar Park yesterday. And that's professional clubs and semi-professional clubs. God knows how many amateur clubs and kids clubs were represented there.
I've got to give a shout out to KTP, who's a Sheffield Eagles supporter, who... massive Eagles fan. She's been an Eagles fan since I can remember. We used to go on the buses together in the 80s. She's put on her prized possession, which is a signed Sheffield Eagles jersey. It is on eBay at this moment, and all the money is going to go to Danny Jones. This is supporters. These are what supporters are doing. Where's the rugby? Where's the professional clubs? What are you doing? Where's the Wigan?
Some of the clubs they are doing stuff. I know Wigan and Saints have done stuff privately. Yeah. Kyle Amore's world famous beard went, didn't it?
Oh right, yeah. I didn't know.
But I know some of the players have chipped in as well. Do you get what I mean? They turned around and went, they turned around along the lines of saying, right, if it gets such and such, I'll chip in X amount and get rid of this.
Right.
So the players aren't just like getting the raises out there. They're dipping their hands in the pockets as well. I know a lot of the Super League clubs have done stuff privately. Lee, I know, had a bucket collection. They wanted to keep private and then ended up having no choice because the fans just made sure it wasn't private.
Yeah.
Because I think they just wanted Lee to know. But the other focus we've got to. The other part of it we've got to look at now is the players.
Yeah.
Who were on the pitch at the time. And I don't just mean Keithley players, London scholars. Are they getting, surely, and you've got to think that Lizzie Jones is getting, and their family are getting all the support they need. But hopefully the support for the players as well, who saw it. and watched it happen. And again, down in Australia, players who saw Zane Purcell's collapse the other day. I hope they're all getting support they need as well. Because I mean, God, it's no comparison, but I had a man's leg break on a pitch once, and that affected me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That sound will never ever escape my head as long as I live. To see someone collapse and die on the pitch,
right.
It's
right. Well, sorry to have been so depressed. Somebody calls, it's going to be depressing. Sorry about that, guys.
No, we said we were going to be serious at the start.
Yeah, this is it, right?
All right. Now we're going to have a bit of fun. So Salford.
Hold on. I've heard the results. We've got the results yet.
Mate, we haven't done a show for weeks. We haven't got time to do 6 weeks of results.
No. I'm just doing results from last weekend because there's been some cracking results. You're not going to believe this. Right, Thursday night we had Hull Kingston Rovers 54, Wakefield 6. In the Telstra Premiership on Friday, Sydney 36, West Tigers 4. What about this one? Brisbane 8, Penrith 5.
Was that a game of hockey?
No, that's rugby league game. Fucking hell.
8-5.
8-5.
Are you sure that's just not a very high scoring Australian A-League football game?
I'm serious. That is 8-5. Brisbane Penrith.
8-5.
Kingston Championship Friday. Sheffield Eagles 30. Doncaster 12. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Super League. Wigan 28. Castleford 0. Salford 0. Huddersfield 19.
Can I just thank Cass and Salford for contributing no points to my point over, the point spread.
Yeah.
For my usual overs double on Friday. Thank you for your contribution and thank you for my losing bet to both teams. Thank you very much.
Saturday, we had Super League, Catalan 33, Saints 26.
We'll get into that in a minute as well.
Yeah. Kingston Division 1, Kingston Press League 1, Gloucestershire All Goals 6, York 46, Rochdale 28, Swinton 16, Barrow 30, Oldham 18. And then on Sunday, hold on. So in the Premiership in Australia, we had Canberra 56, Gold Coast 16, Cronulla Sharks 16, New Zealand Warriors 20, North Queensland Cowboys 23, Canterbury Bulldogs 16. Then on Sunday, Kingston Press League 1, Keighley 52, Coventry 10, Oxford 38, London Scholars 24, South Wales 18, North Wales 50, Hemel Stags 12, Newcastle 58, Championship, Workington 10, Batley 23, Whitehaven 16, Bradford Bulls 32, London Broncos 32, Featherstone 40, Lee 22, Halifax 14, Dewsbury 40, Hunslet 4. In the Super League, Widnes Vikings 38, Leeds Rhinos 24, Warrington Wolves 26, Hull FC 27. And this morning in the Telstra Premiership, and it was an absolute banging match, this, because I watched it. South Sydney Rabbitohs 16, St George Illawarra 10. There's the results. So, go on then. What about your Saints? What happened?
It was a hell of a game. Do you know what? I can't use Lee Charles as an excuse because he was equally shit for both teams. To be honest with you, Lee Charles did his level best to make that game an absolute pudding, and you had two teams who throw the ball around in the south of France doing what they did best. And at the end of the day, Catalan just scored more points than us. It's as simple as that. Do you get what I mean? Catalan at home. Leeds beat them at home, and to be honest with you, I think that'll be it. I don't think any other teams will go to Perpignan this season and beat them.
No.
They at home they are that good. They just can't travel that well. They can, but yeah, it was one of those. I've got no complaints. I mean, our injury list is worse than one of the last season. And I didn't know that was possible. I really didn't know that was possible. And can I just say, because it's been a while, I did it on the 40-20 page, and I want to do it on the show. I'd like to thank the majority of Wigan fans for being gracious about Lance Haya's retirement. To the couple of bellends who gave Ben Flower credit, I'm telling you now, one person who will be devastated by that news will be Ben Flower, because it is concussion-related syndromes, and it is that punch. So Ben Flower will be absolutely devastated. So Wigan fans in bunny ears who made comments like that, going, get in Ben Flower and stuff like that, you're a disgrace to your club, and your own fans said the same thing. So to the Wigan fans who did that, from this sake, thank you very much. And like I said on the page, and I do want to turn around and say, with my hand on my heart, for the 4 years that you thrilled me at Langtree Park to Lance Haya, thank you very, very much.
Yeah. Right.
How about your Eagles then, eh? You're on a roll.
Yeah, we're flying. And the situation that on Friday night, I mean, I got this from Dan Flower and the other guys that went to the stadium in Doncaster. Eagles, it wasn't the best performance the Eagles ever did, but they did the job. They got over the line, and you could see what was going to happen with this league now. It's settled down. You know exactly what's going to happen. I just want to give a special mention to the Doncaster Rugby League fan who said that Sheffield Eagles shouldn't even be in a league because they don't have their own stadium. I'm sorry, Sunshine, but the last time I looked at Doncaster, you was playing in Doncaster Rovers Stadium, and you haven't got your own stadium. And also, how many times in the last 15, 20 years has Doncaster been liquidated? All I've got to say to you, Sunshine, is when you can pay your debts, and then I think you should be in the league. But if you just keep liquidating to do people out of the debts that you owe them, then you don't even deserve a place in the amateur game. So my message to that old git who supports Doncaster Rugby League Club, rest of Doncaster fans, I've got no problem with you. I love you guys as much as anything in this world. But to that one piece of shit that says Sheffield Eagles shouldn't be in the league because they've got no stadium, pay your bleeding debts, bitch. That's all I'm going to say to that shit for brains. I've got no time for that. I really haven't.
No, I mean, I completely agree. You know, every club's got their brainless minority of fans.
Let's look at the tables. We said at the start of the year.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is top four doable for you?
For the Eagles, yes, we are. At the moment, we are.
I know you are, but I'm talking when the split happens. Do you think will you be in the middle eight?
Yeah, I think we will. I can just see at this moment now, Wakefield Wildcats are not going to get back in Super League. There is going to be 2 new teams in Super League next year.
Didn't we call this?
Yes, we did.
Didn't we call the bottom 2?
Yeah.
As it currently stands.
Right. At the moment, the bottom 4, Wakefield have got 4 points, Salford have 11, Widnes have 11, Hull KR's got 12. They're the bottom 4. 8th place, Hull FC, 12. Above them, Catalan, 13. Castleford, 6th place, 14. Warrington, 5th place, 14 points. So if Hull Kingston Rovers put 2 wins together, they could go 5th.
Well, the thing is, that's the same if Widnes put 3 together, they go 5th.
It's crazy, isn't it?
To be honest with you, I think 3 of the bottom 4 are set.
Yeah. Between 4th place and 11th, there's 4 points between it in the Super League.
Right, so how's Championship looking?
The Championship, well, it's Lee at top, 12 wins from 12 games. Bradford of second, played 12, got 22 points, played 12, won 11. Yeah. Then it's Sheffield, played 12, won 9, lost 3, 18 points. 4th place, Featherstone, 16 points. Then you've got...
So if they split now, before we go down, so if the split happens now,
yeah,
you've got Hull KR, is it?
Hull KR.
Hull KR, Widnes, Salford,
and Wakefield.
Lee,
Bradford,
Wigan, Chef and
Sheffield and Featherstone.
Wow. Call that one.
Yeah.
Call your 4 out of that. Because the top 4 in the championship are in form.
I think Lee and Bradford are cert to go into the Super League. I'll put Lee and Bradford at the top of that middle 8. I'll put Lee up against anybody at this moment because they beat Salford in the Challenge Cup. That's the biggest wake-up call Super League's had it in the last few years. Lee have actually gone to somewhere and gone, right, we're going to kick your ass, and they've done it.
To be honest with you, they nearly bloody did it again in the last 16.
Yeah.
In the 32.
Yeah. Bradford, James Law's got him hitting on the straps. He's got him strapping. He's got him going now. But Lee are full-time. Bradford are full-time. Sheffield are not full-time. They're part-time, and they third. That's a part-time club.
No, Featherstone full-time either, are they?
No. So you got the 2 full-time teams. I mean, about London Broncos, well, they're just having a complete revamp of all the players and everything. And fair play to Andrew Henderson, who's taken over the reins. And they've got Brian Noble in there now. So I can see London putting a couple of runs together before the end of this campaign. But at the bottom of the championship, you've got Doncaster, who have not won a point all season. They ain't got a win yet. 12 defeats. Then you've got Workington on 4, Whitehaven 6, and Hunslet on 8. And then it's Batley at the 8th place. So the bottom 8, you'll have Dewsbury. If it was today, you'd have Dewsbury, Halifax, London, Batley, Hunslet, Whitehaven, Workington, and Doncaster to go with the top 4 of League One. So it's going to look really, really cool. These 8s when they get going.
When they split, yeah. I mean, 6 of the top in Super League are set. So I mean, Super League fans, we make no apology for not talking about that. Because we said this at the start of the season, and a lot of people have said the same thing. The middle championship and then the middle later when it splits. I think most Super League fans who know a 40-20 kick from an uncontested scrum, know that that's the place it's going to be. Because that is just, it's exciting as hell. It really is. The championship this year in the middle 8 is the place to go because, like you said, Super League settled down now, and I don't think you're going to see much change in the top 4. Not much change in the whole top 8, if I'm honest. You might see a little bit, 5 to 10.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you've give yourself a little tap on the back because what I'm about to do is I'm looking down under, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the table down under?
Right. Yeah, I had a little look at it.
Bottom 3, right? Sorry, the bottom 4. No one would have called this Manly Sea Eagles at the bottom.
Yeah.
Then you got Parramatta. We said that. We said Parramatta had been on the bottom. Cronulla we did.
Struggle.
And Gold Coast. We called it Gold Coast. We said, but the amount of matches that Gold Coast have lost by the odd point has been shocking. And Cronulla the same because I'm looking at their points difference now. It's frightening to see these points differences and things like that. Top 8 speaks for itself. We've got to go down under because there was an incident a few weeks ago involving England's own James Graham. Did you see that? He went to kick the scrum half for South Sydney, kicked the ball. Now, James Graham dived, and apparently he didn't dive at the player. Well, my view is this is, and I'm a neutral, so I'm neutral on this. I looked at it, and because I support South Sydney down south anyway, so I was looking at it both ways. Even them in the commentary room, Peter Sterling, Ray Warren, all them guys there said there was no way that referee should have called that penalty against James Graham because he wasn't looking at the player, he was trying to get the ball. Yeah. But his momentum rolled over onto the scrum half's leg and he's out of the game for a few months. The referee then called a penalty from where the ball landed from the drop goal attempt, which is bang in front of the post. So he put the penalty there. What happened after was James Graham got so enraged and everything that he's got himself a ban, and I think he's coming back in the next couple of weeks. And there was another guy that got sent off for Canterbury as well because he was so enraged. But what happened after that, we don't condone. We do not condone any rugby league fan throwing bottles or glasses or any type of beer thing at the officials. You do not have the right to do that at an official. He's there trying to be as fair as he can. They're human. We all make mistakes. But there is no place in that for an official in rugby league. Canterbury Bulldogs fans, you disgraced your club to the maximum of that one. That was disgraceful actions to see that.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yes, and Dino's away. Yes, I've seen that. But I mean, James Graham was an innocent. I mean, I watched it and I'm going, oh, his leg's gone. Oh, I just cringed when I saw it and I thought, first reaction I did, I went, you dirty get James Graham, because he's hard as nails, James Graham. He's hard as nails. If you asked him to run through a brick wall, I mean, this is the guy that gave Sam Burgess the broken eye socket, right?
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so it is crazy the fact that all these things are happening in the league. It's all these instances are taken away from the things on the pitch, for me, which is the greatest game in the world. We're hearing rumours now that Sam Burgess isn't happy. So,
well, I don't blame him, to be honest. Do you?
Yeah. No, he's only caught hypothermia 4 times since he's switched.
Well, he's used to the conditions in Sydney, isn't he?
It's just the fact he's not been given the ball, isn't it? I mean, if you're in the backs in rugby union, when do you get the ball?
After the game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. You give you a touch of the ball to say, here you go. It's the only game I know where the kit man only gets to wash half the kit. There we go. Yeah. Here we go. Rugby union fans, come on and slice us off. Here we go.
Yeah, no. Yeah, we'll get it off the rah-rahs in a minute.
Yeah.
Then we'll get the usual crap where we kick chase points.
Oh, it's always the same. We've just had a post. We've just had a post from Danny. Yeah, she's just saying thank you to everybody. So, did you see? I mean, I'm not going back to Danny Jones. Did you see that somebody tagged Danny Jones' widow into the conversation?
Yeah, we did. Well, we had a chat about that privately, didn't we? We've said, if it gets back, and if obviously, if anyone has, who's listened to this, who knows Lizzie, turns around and says, by all means, if she's not happy with it, we will more than happily remove the post. I'm sure everyone will understand.
Yeah, all you have to do is say the word and it's done. No matter what it is, it's done. We just think that it was crazy. But I mean, what's your take on the Aussie game at the moment? I mean, we've got the State of Origin in a couple of weeks. With the new rule, have you heard the new rules that if anybody's caught fighting, they will be not selected for for State of Origin for this year and next year? If anybody starts a fight or throw punches in that game.
Well, you're going to throw a punch, mate.
It is. I think I'm not being funny.
I'm trying hard not to be biased, having seen what I've seen in the grand final last year.
Yeah. You cannot stop two teams that are passionate as much as New South Wales and Queensland and expect them not to do anything.
Well, they're trying their best, aren't they? I think now what's happening is with certain incidents that there is more a spotlight coming on rugby league now, and especially like what Lance was saying in the chat room before, especially with concussions, you're getting more and more rugby players who suffer, with concussion syndromes later on in life. So with that comes the extra, scrutiny on the game. And let's be honest, State of Origin is probably the most violent game of rugby league in the world.
Yeah. I think rugby league overall, we all know we love it to bits. We'll watch it till the cows come home. We love it as much as anybody in this world. But it's been a rough time for all rugby league fans over the last few weeks, and we've just got to go onwards and upwards now. We've got to rebuild this game, and we've got to make it show everybody that it's the greatest game in the world, which it is.
Oh, without a doubt. I don't agree with Mike Stevenson on much, but I agree with him on that.
Yeah.
It is. It's the greatest sport in the world.
Yeah, absolutely superb. There's nothing to touch it. I think when you look at Mike Stevenson, and it's great to see Mike Stevenson back on Sky Sports after his illness. Welcome back, Sunshine. We've missed you so much.
Yeah, welcome back, Gobshite.
Yeah. Right, I'm gonna say, what's this about Phil Clark on Sky? Because everybody else can see it, but I'm sceptical at times. But I'm coming round to this thing. Why is Phil Clark so bad on Sky Sports? Because he had apparently he had an orgasm when they announced that Sam Tompkins was re-signing for Wigan. Apparently.
Oh, we haven't discussed that yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
What, Sam can't cope Tompkins?
Yeah, Sam. I'm a bit homesick, and I'm coming home. Tompkins, yeah.
Yeah, Sammy can't cope. God bless him. Poor little mate.
I think there's something at the back of this. I think he's like, well, hold on a minute. Did I expect... Did he... Do you think he expected it? Did he expect it to be like it was? Honestly?
I think the price tag's got to him. Honestly. I think the price tag's got to him.
Yeah. And now Wigan have forked out all that money to bring him back. It was obvious.
Sky.
It was obvious. Sky. There was no other way, no other club
Sorry,
could have him.
Dean, I've got a terrible cough now.
Yeah, no, he got Sky cough. Yeah, I've heard
Sky.
it. Sky, yep.
See, sorry. I do apologise, everyone. I've got a hell of a cough when it comes to Sam Tompkins' transfer fee back to Wigan. Sky. Sorry. There he goes again.
He's off again.
There he goes again.
It's like me with my London bronchitis thing. A few months
ago.
London
bronchitis.
Yeah.
I suffer from Salford sickness, and I've got this Sky cough as well when it comes to Sam Tompkins. Sky Tompkins transfer fee. Sorry, Sam, not Sky Tompkins. Sam Tompkins. I'm surprised they're not running Sam Tompkins' countdown clock.
Yeah. So
I'm telling you, that's the second coming of the Messiah, and I don't mean Phil Clark.
Yeah. Do you reckon?
Yeah, he was embarrassing.
Right. Do you reckon Tompkins will just... I think Sean Wayne must be rubbing his hands the fact that he's got Tompkins back. But is he coming back a better player, or is he just coming back a worse player?
I don't think you can come back from the NRL worse.
Do you think he'll have learnt new things about the way... I mean, when you come out and say, I miss my pies, really?
No, that's just basically he's wet out.
Yeah,
he's wet out. He's gone down there, £1 million player, gone down there, and he's been a marked man, and he doesn't like it. Well, I'll tell you what, if you think you're a marked man down there, wait till you come back, sonny boy.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, the game's changed up here.
Yeah, you've got Zach Hardacre now, and you've got all these other guys that could be gunning for him. You got Saints doing their usual youth system merry-go-round. So you'll find another fullback straight away, no problem.
Right.
How would your season rate then for Saints this year so far?
Expected. I'd say a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Look, to be honest with you, we didn't expect to win the league last year.
But you did.
Didn't expect to win the league Leaders' Shield. We didn't expect. We've got worse injuries than we had when we did the league double last year. So, you know what? No, do you know what? We're all right. We're all right. I want us to win the Challenge Cup. That's been away too long. We haven't been to the final for a few years either.
No.
I think we'll struggle against York, I think. That was a tough draw. You know what? You wanted a home draw in the last 16. And you know what? When we came out against York City Knights, I was like, ooh, got away with that one.
Yeah.
Got
there was a
away
lot
with
of, in the last round of the Challenge Cup, I mean, Sheffield, we was only within 10 points of Hull with 10 minutes to go. And even Hull FC said Sheffield gave us a fright. They really have given us a fright here. It's like, well, hold on a minute. So the gap between Championship and Super League, I think this middle eight is going to help.
I think it's one of those as well. That the last 10 minutes showed the difference between fully pro and semi-pro.
Yeah, definitely.
Without a doubt.
We got these things happening in all the rugby league things and stuff. For those who don't know, and if you've not seen it before, there is a website called Rugby League Live DVDs, I think it is. And if you don't know about it, check it out. It's got one of the best libraries I've ever seen of games for rugby league I've ever known. You pay £10 and you can watch all these matches, great matches and everything. They had on Facebook, I didn't match for you, Saints versus Leeds. I think it was from 1993 or 4. I looked at the Leeds team. You had Schofield and Andy Gregory at halfbacks, Hanley, Kevin Iro, Gary Mercer, Andy Goodway, Steve Malloy, Alan Tate at fullback. And then you got on the Saints side, you got Neil Cooper, Sonny Nicol. And you got that. And the best of it is, they showed this bit where Sonny Nicol played the ball. And as he got up, he didn't have to give a beautiful elbow to Hanley in the gob. It was like, get that one, bitch. And
it's one of those where you look back with a fond little memory of, it wasn't it nice to see hits and tackles like that. When you watch the game today now, it's much more skillful. You know,
I never realised that Andy Gregory played for Leeds, and my brain must have completely gone soft. The fact that I completely forgot that Andy Gregory played for Leeds. Remember what Leeds did in the early 90s? What did they do? Just buy every bleeding ex-Wigan player going? Because in that team alone, you had Gregory, Hanley, Goodway, bloody hell, Kevin Iro as well. I mean, bloody hell. I mean, how many more ex-Wiganers did you want in one team?
I think Leeds thought the only way we're going to start winning stuff is if we buy Wigan players.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Got Doug Lawton. Do you remember they had Doug Lawton as coach? Because he left Wigan, didn't he? And he went to Leeds. So
yeah, that was a weird one as well.
My favourite memory of Doug Lawton ever was Bramall Lane, Sheffield, and Eagles played Widnes about 4 or 5 days after they did the World Club Challenge and they beat Canberra. And all you saw on the bench, and it was on the TV show Scrum Down, what we used to have in Yorkshire. And at half time, they went up to Doug Lawton. He's got a fag hanging out of his mouth, big sheepskin coat in October. And he said, "So, Doug, what are you going to do in the second half?" He says, "Play better than we did in the bloody first half." And he says, "What are you doing wrong?" And he says, "They're being lazy shits out there. They're not even getting hold of the ball." He says, "I put them right." He said, if they don't book up their ideas, none of them's playing next week. None of them. And that side at Widnes, you had Jonathan Davis, Andy Courier, a Fire, Kurt Sorensen, Phil McKenzie. It was the bee's knees of Widnes. I'll never forget that day, ever.
Oh, mate, they were a team and a half.
There were some great teams.
And people forget Widnes were the first team to win the world championship for the Brits.
Yeah.
Not Wigan. And I do think that's scandalous that's erased almost. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, I remember that match because that's when Jonathan Davis had that awesome head tackle by Laurie Daly and nearly took his head off.
Yeah.
And as he scored the try, just after about 6-7 months after Davis joined Rugby League, and he played on wing, and Laurie Daly took his head off in a tackle, and he still scored.
No, it was one of those welcome to league moments, wasn't it, for him?
Oh, definitely. It was one of them, definitely one of them welcome to league. Here you go, pal, welcome to league.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think even Widnes gave Widnes a chance, did they?
No, nobody did. Because look who he had in that Canberra side. You had John Ferguson, Mal Meninga, Laurie Daly, Ricky Stewart, Glenn Lazarus. Fuck's sake, what a side! They had an amazing side. Gary Belcher at fullback. You had a right side at Canberra in the late 80s. Amazing.
Yeah. I don't think to this day Canberra know how they lost that game.
I think if they did what they do now and had them a warm-up game, I think Canberra would have won. I really do. But saying that, look what Souths did this year. Never seen. If anybody, I know it hurts because it's the Saints, but if anybody wants to see the most perfect game of rugby league played by a team, just watch that performance by South Sydney. You couldn't.
I finally watched it without emotion.
Oh, mate, what a performance by Souths.
Yeah. Now I've watched it with emotion gone.
Yeah.
Mate, from 1 to 17, South Sydney that day was just immense.
It's like I just said, it was the perfect game of rugby league by a team. I've never seen it in my life. I just sat there, gobsmacked and going, you could have put the Australia test side against South Sydney and Souths would have won that game.
Yeah, it wasn't really good at the time. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't thinking that at the time. I started watching it through fingers in the end.
Yeah. How's our amateur team going?
They're going well. They are going very, very well indeed. They're doing life in Division 2.
Yeah.
Lee's got them working hard and doing well. I'll get a fuller update for the next show. But they've got a couple of good teams thriving now. And what I'm liking, we've got links now with junior teams as well.
Excellent.
So right across Burton Wood, they're running all age ranges now.
Yeah. Well, I got a present today from South St Ives Roosters. I got an old player shirt. Somebody gave me an old player shirt to say thanks for all we do for them. So I've got a red and white hoop shirt in my house that's got number 20 on the back from the Roosters. So thanks to everybody at the Roosters. We won. We are the defending champions in rugby league in the East Division, and we just beat last year's finalists again, Bedford Tigers 38-16 in the first match of the season. So it's up and running. And this week we play, I think it's Kings Lynn Knights. I'm not sure. I think it's Kings Lynn we play this week.
No, both teams look like they've started well this season.
Yeah, so it looks good. But have you got anything to finish, mate? Because literally, I've got to go to bed now because I'm up in about 5 hours. I've got to go to bed and go to sleep before
you're going on holiday, aren't you? Last thing I was going to finish on was the UAE Rugby League Federation putting the neck on the line.
What did they do?
The controversial letter this week. Basically, I think in the United Arab Emirates, they can't decide whether they're league or union, I don't think.
Well, again,
I have discovered I do have a friend who lives in Dubai, and he was going to get me a Dubai Hurricane shirt, but he's not a member of the club, so you can't have one. So, rugby league in the Middle East, a lot to be decided. But based on that, I've been looking a lot. The Rugby League international community is expanding. There's varying groups now for the European Championships, and they're expanding the world game as well. Europe seems to have spread. The European Championship seems to be like golf's European Tour at the moment. In golf, the European Tour has games. It has rounds in Australia, Singapore, South Africa, but it looks like there's a continental championship. The European Championship's almost expanded to an intercontinental championship now, where you've got Lebanon, UAE, Cyprus, Morocco, Algeria, teams like that, and I only think that's good for the game.
Yeah,
it can only be good for the game.
Yeah, I've got a confession about it, and I sat here last night, and for those who don't know, who's new to the show, I did a charity show last month where I raised nearly £650 for my cancer centre, for the Woodland Centre in Huntingdon. And all of a sudden, I had this brainwave, and I went, well, I did it for them. I wonder if we could do one for the Rugby League guys. I wonder if we can do one for the Rugby League, like for all the money goes to Danny Jones. Danny Jones's family. And I sat here most of this day going, right, let me have a look what dates I've got. so stay tuned, because you never know. Might just be doing another 24-hour show. I might be doing another 24-hour show soon, because circumstances in my life happen, and there's things that happen in other people's lives that you don't see happening, and you never do. And I'm not going to ask anything, but all I'm going to do is I will personally write to every professional rugby league club, and I will say I am going to be doing this charity show, and I'm going to be raising money for Danny Jones, and I will demanding at least a signed ball of every team in the rugby league. If we if we say that,
let me know when you're thinking of doing it, and I'll get a kettle.
He's just come to me this morning. I'm like, hello, what did I do? If you don't know, I mean, I've raised
the idea that came in my head. Get Burton Wood to play St Ives.
Yeah. Oh, at the moment you can't get St Ives to play any bleeding thing. Yes, Winters, I know. Don't tell Nixie. Please don't tell Nixie. No.
No. This one will be me and thee.
But this one, we just run on the same lines as the last one I did when I just played music and other things. But it was just one of these things that I did. I did 30 hours last time, and I'm not doing 30 hours again.
No. Maybe even 12.
Yeah, just do a 12-hour marathon or something just to raise money from it, and just literally see what we can do. Get the rugby.
Do you know what we could do? I've got an idea. If we're going to do it, do it when there's a couple of games on, and we'll commentate.
Yeah, but I think.
Come on, that'd be awesome. We could sit and watch a game, and imagine it if we're streaming it, we'd be on different odds.
Yeah.
So you could be seeing tries before I do, and vice versa.
Yeah. I think at the moment I've got so many things happening. I mean, I've got my holiday, and then I'm moving house and everything, so I've got to see exactly what's going to be planning. But if we can pull this off for Danny, we'll do it. I mean, I've done it for a young lad called Callum. I've done it for the Woodland Centre, and I've done it for a wrestler by the name of Chris Travis, who I worship with my heart and my soul. And I've done it for so many good causes now that this just I'm looking at it going, you know.
We'll talk. Right, go on holiday, and then we'll talk. All right. I agree with that.
Do you know the best of it is? I've packed my rugby shirts, right, and I've got a Sheffield Eagles shirt. I've got my England tracksuit top, and my wife says, "What do you need a tracksuit top for?" And I says, "Well, for night time." She says, "It's 31 degrees during the day. Do you think you're really going to need a tracksuit top at night?" And I'm like, "Yeah, good point." So I'm like, right, where's all my rugby shirts?
On that note, we started on a sad note. We're ending on a happy note. Go enjoy your holiday.
Yep. And I will put this now on iTunes, because if we put it on the Podomatic, and if you search for us, BSR Sports or whatever it is, BSR Sports on, we'll put the link up from iTunes onto the page, and we'll put the Podomatic thing on. So when it's all up, it's all on. It'll also go on YouTube. It'll also go on YouTube and everything for tonight. So it's nice to be back. We will be back in 2 weeks. That I can promise. We will be back in 2 weeks' time.
What night it is depending on my rota.
Yeah. Preview it. If we can preview the State of Origin, we will do. We'll be talking about all the other things. But cheers, mate. Thanks ever so much tonight.
Yeah, good as always, mate.
And thanks to every single person that's liked us over the last 24 hours, because we've just got 100 likes, and the reaction of the rugby league community has been phenomenal. Thank you so much. And
thank you very much. Yeah, we'll discuss this long show when you get back.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Take care of yourselves. I'll see everybody soon. Bye bye.
See you soon. Good night.